Blame the British for all accidents involving matches since 1827. Yes, if you've had an accident with matches that was your fault since 1827, then you might have a claim against the British. Let's blame the British for everything. This is a new series of videos I'm experimenting with where I'm going to blame the British in an ironic kind of way, but if you can see through it, you'll realise that I'm actually celebrating the British. But never mind, don't tell anybody because it's not fashionable to do that. All facts, all in my book. Again, I'm just going to be honest, bit ruthless promotion of my Georgian book. Anyway, so let's start with matches. Let's see if you have a claim against the British. So the matches themselves were invented in Britain by an Englishman by the name of John Walker. John Walker lived in the northeast of England in a place called Stockton On Tees. Now, John was a chemist and John loved experimenting with combustible materials. And one night when he was at home playing around with all his funny materials, he by accident scraped some dried material he'd been mixing against his fireplace and it just burst into flames. Now, can you imagine how shocking this was for John? But remember, this was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, so there was all sorts of inventions going on, all kind of people like John Walker in Britain inventing mad things. Well, anyway, he saw this as a great invention. For millennia, human beings had no access to direct fire. They had to, before the invention in 1827 of matches, people had to keep fires going, but before they could keep them going, they had to get them started, and they would use flints or the old-fashioned ways with sticks. But in 1827, John Walker, the Englishman, invented by accident the matches. Now, he had his chemist shop in Stockton On Tees, and so what he did, very cleverly, I think, John Walker decided to employ his time fruitfully on an evening after working in his chemist shop in Stockton On Tees. So remember, this is before television. There's nothing to do in Georgian England. No Antiques Road Trip to watch, no bargain hunt, nothing. So John would go home and on an evening he would chop up bits of wood. Then he would take these little slithers of wood and he would dip them into his wet combustible material, allow them to dry overnight. The following morning, in little boxes that he'd made, he'd put 50 of his miniature fire sticks in a box. He'd stick to the side of the box a little bit of sandpaper. John Walker created match boxes as well as the match. And the following day, he would then sell them from his shop in Stockton On Tees, a box of 50 matches for £7 a box in today's terms. John Walker was doing really well. He was selling these matches like hotcakes. People couldn't get enough of his fire sticks. They loved them. John Walker was on to a big winner. And all his family and all of his friends said to John, "John, you are going to make a fortune out of this. This is what the human race has been looking for millions of years. You need to patent your match sticks, your fire sticks, and make yourself super duper rich." John Walker thought about it and he refused to do it. He was already well off, he said. He had no wife, no children. He was financially secure and happy with everything that he already had. And he felt that the human race had a right to instant fire, instant heat, instant light, instant security in the form of his invented box of matches. So John Walker said, "I allow anybody in the world to use my ingredients and make the match." An amazing guy, I think you'll agree that John Walker is, and what an amazing invention. So for almost 200 years, John Walker has allowed the world to make matches royalty-free, giving life and sustenance to billions of people. So it's a really good news story. Well done, British inventors. However, there is a train of thought that could also blame John Walker and those blasted British for every single arson attack in the world involving matches since 1827. Yeah, let's blame the British. Thanks for watching. I'm David Harper. Until next time, cheerio.